What's going on, people? It is transfer deadline day, and not only is it transfer deadline day is about to end. We've got less than 2 hours till the window is shut. Another signing today that we're going to be talking about in detail with Adam Wharton joining. Of course, if there is anything that goes on in the final couple of hours, we'll keep you up to date with that. But look, there's some outgoings, some incomings. So we'll talk about the January transfer window. And in fact, we're going to open up the line so you can join in and have your say as well. We'll talk about Palace. Oh, look, there's always something to talk about with Palace, right? We'll probably talk about who's the best dressed manager. If we run out of time or run out of things to talk about, we'll talk about who has the best views. There'll be something to talk about. But as always, if you do enjoy the stream, if you can drop a like and subscribe to not miss out future content, that would be much appreciated. AJ, you've had a day off. To be fair, you haven't really had anything to do, even in terms of Palace, because it's been quiet. Apart from Adam Wharton, have you been surprised by how the day went, considering that we done
it was a weird one. I think sort of when I got up this morning, took my time, as you said, day off, which they do come few and far between. But I kind of been just sort of eyeing up the timeline and sitting on the PlayStation all day. To be fair, having a proper day off. I thought the Adam Wharton announcement was very good. I am a fan of that. It was a very, very good video. It did look like this morning there was potential to get, obviously yesterday we even spoke about it, in terms of getting Akpom and potentially Cornet. Doesn't look like that's obviously going to happen. Cornet obviously being on West Ham's bench tonight, and the Akpom trail seems to have gone very cold. But I'm happy, man. I think...
I had to double check it, but I heard that he might be going Forest, Akpom.
Yeah, it did look like that was pretty much inevitable. I believe he's been there before, hasn't he? Didn't he go there on loan on there years ago? But in all fairness, I'm happy with the window. I think it boosts the team. It makes our squad better. Yeah, if I was feeling spoiled, I would have probably asked for more. And I know there are some fans that think we need to deliver more. But at the end of the day, we're the highest spenders in the window so far. And we've got two very, very good players that have made our squad stronger. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with that. I would have, like everyone else, I would have probably liked or loved more. But, for a club that are the size of Litwell Palace, we've kind of put a few decent additions to the squad. And I, for one, can't get mad at that.
Yeah. Look, if there's any updates, of course, we'll be giving to you all the latest updates as soon as they come in. But right now, as it stands, I don't think we're expecting any other signings. But you never know with the loan market open in the last half an hour, 45 minutes, just someone, I don't know, Kevin Doyle coming back to the club or something crazy like that.
Allow it, bro.
You never know with Palace. You never know with Palace. But yeah, right now, as it stands, the latest is that Ebiwe has left the club today to join Molenbeek, right?
Molenbeek.
Yeah, he went to Molenbeek. Yeah,
he went Belgium,
on loan, so he joins another youth player over there to get some experience. And Adam Wharton has been announced. And to be fair, with Cornet, we'll talk about it as well on how that went on throughout the day, because right now he is in West Ham's squad. I don't know if he's come off the bench. He was on the bench for West Ham. In fact, it is 1-1. James Ward-Prowse scored a penalty, and he hasn't even come off the bench. But Cornet is in East London right now, so I don't think he'll be coming to Palace. But there were some reports, whether people believe it or not. Some people got onto me today on Twitter about it, saying, "Oh, there's no way you believe that Roy didn't want Cornet." And so, look, there's a lot to even discuss, despite there being only 2 bits of business. But you know what? I'm going to open up the lines because I'll be honest, people, there's no point in hiding it. It's like a community here. I need to have my dinner because I'm flying out in about 9 hours' time, and I have to drive to the airport in about 3-4 hours' time. So as much as I love doing this, I talk about Palace, I have to look at my well-being as well. So I'm going to open up the lines and get some of your thoughts. Hopefully some of you can join. If not, we'll go through the comment section as usual. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well. Lucas saying Cornet is coming. I don't know where you heard that from. Right now, as it stands. Oh, it's coming off the bench, maybe. It's coming on now. Apparently, Cornet is just coming on now. Yeah, so as soon as I mention him, it's coming off the bench. But look, the link is posted where you can click on the link to join us live on Transfer Deadline Day to have your thoughts on just Palace and the transfer business. Of course, Adam Wharton will be discussing that in a bit more detail as well throughout the show, because I think that's a fantastic bit of signing. I thought the Wharton introduction video from Clifton Arms was hilarious. What do you make of that, AJ? It's kind of weird of him walking into it with a Palace kit like into the pub, like 19-year-old, not kid, but it was a bit weird. I didn't expect it.
In comparison to me, he is a kid. That's me showing my age a little bit there. But for starters, depends who you're asking. In football years, I'm old. In generic term, young. But in terms of him going into the
45, 47?
Are you mad? Yeah. You're taking a bit. No. Not a zillion years away from that, but well, ironically, I'm closer to 47 than I am to 19, put it that way. But in all fairness, he did. I loved the video, man. It was really, really cool, really, really funny. Everyone was like, "Where is he? Where is he?" He's looking around outside the stadium. He had him sitting in Doogie's very, very famous stairs, should I say? For those privileged enough to go to that part of the ground. Yeah, man. It was a bit weird that he never got ID getting into that pub because, bless him, he does look quite young in terms of what I would physically see. I'd definitely be checking him for ID, that's for sure. But it was a good video, man. It was very, very clever of the club. And I think nowadays, club announcement videos are a part of announcements, isn't it? It's quite a common thing. And some football clubs are very, very good at it. And us, it seems like someone in the admin office is doing some good research there, man. It was very, very funny. And I was very, very entertained by it.
Yeah. Look, let's bring on the first guest of the evening. Henry, how you doing? Normally, I introduce you by saying Palace 1, I don't know, Blackburn 4. But no, there isn't any scorelines today. It's transfer deadline day. What have you made of it today?
To be honest, I'm really satisfied that, even though I think it's only because of the fans' reaction as to why we've suddenly sparked into life in the last sort of few days, I am happy that the club seems to have, pulled their finger out and finally actually done something in the transfer market. It's refreshing to see. I'm really excited about the Wharton signing, I have to say. I know there's been some reservations about, will Roy play him? But for me, even if, let's just say for argument's sake that he doesn't play him, it's a signing for the future. The kid is only 19 years old. Roy's not going to be here next season. And I'm very excited by that signing. And I think we have good reason to be. This guy is not an unheard prodigy. He's even though he's only 19 years old, he's been, making loads of noise in the championship. He's a very highly rated midfielder. If you see his highlights, you can see what his game is about. It is sort of similar to what Conor Gallagher brought to us. I think he can really bring this team together and providing that we, if we can keep the likes of Ebbs and Elise, I mean, it does look very promising from that point of view, I have to say.
So with that, Henry, what do you think the rest of our season looks like with those two additions to our squad? Because let's be honest, for me, I think both of those players are more than capable of walking into the team and walking into our starting 11 very, very easily. Obviously, we know the France situation that's very what it is. So what do you think the rest of our season looks like with those two players added to the squad?
I think we will see Muñoz. Is that how you pronounce it? Muñoz. I think we will see him a fair amount. I don't know if we'll be seeing him like every week, whether he'll be a regular starter or not. Simply because I kind of know what Roy's like. I mean, that's obviously assuming that Roy's, stays until the end of the season. But I do think we'll see some minutes from him. I think we'll see enough game time from him, and I think he's a good player. He looks a very good player, and it is incredible. I mean, when we signed him, I actually had to just double check my glass. We actually signed a right back there. Crystal Palace FC sign a right. Is this? Am I having a dream or something? Is this actually real? But yeah, it's about time. We've been how many years have you been banging on about sign a right back, and they've finally gone and done it. But it does seem very, very convenient, let's say, that this transfer activity has suddenly, cropped up as soon as the fans start making their voices heard.
Do you think that played a part then, Henry? Because some people are saying it didn't, some people are saying it did. Look, these players are scouted beforehand. Of course, it didn't all happen within a week, but what I found curious, anyways, was the fact that, we've got that. Look, we went into the window talking about low moves, and of course, you don't want to give away all your cards to the teams that you're going to be buying off. But the expectation really wasn't that we weren't going to spend as much money, and then we ended up spending about £30 million. And for Palace, that's that's significant. So, do you think the banner played a part? And if it did, how much? I mean, I think
it played an instrumental part. I think if it wasn't for the banner and the fans making their voices heard, I don't even know if we'd have signed one player, let alone two. I have to be honest, because I mean, let's be real here. The strategy of this club is very, very clear to see. Other clubs, they plan to improve. We don't think like that. We plan to just stagnate. The club's thought process is not how can we improve. It's normally how can we maintain this level so that we don't go down. And we all know the problem with that. We all know the problem with that with the likes of, inevitably the likes of Brentford, Fulham, those sorts of teams have overtaken us. Why? Because they've actually had a model of success that they've planned, even though that they've been in lower divisions. But I think that it's very clear to see that I don't think they would have done anything if it weren't for the fans actually protesting. I mean, for someone who says that, we're only going to do loans. Well, where did you find the money for these permanent transfers then? If he was only going to do loans.
Well, maybe that's what. So the point is that the reason why that was said is because we didn't want to play. We didn't want to show the other teams that we were interested in their plays that we had, tons of money to spend, and we'll talk about only loan moves. So teams don't think, Crystal Palace, look at them, they're desperate for midfielder. You don't want to go out there in the market and say you're desperate for midfielder or striker or right back, and then afterwards, Blackburn's going to see that and they're going to be like, hold up, they said that they were desperate. So instead of £20 million, all right, then if you're desperate, £25-30 million. So that's the other side of the argument, really. But look, Henry, if you're about, hopefully we'll bring you on in a bit. We'll just rotate, just bring on people, just switch it up. And then if you're about, of course, I know you'll be in the chat. We'll try to bring you on again.
All right, cool. Sweet.
All right then. See you, Henry.
Cheers.
All right, man, like Henry, mate.
All right, then let's quickly bring on the pack of the next lot, and then we'll switch over. Look at. We got everyone.
Hang on a second.
I'm in my bedroom.
That man over there should be on holiday. What's he doing?
I thought you was done with the transfer window. You weren't interested, no?
Is that what you're talking about? These transfers?
Yeah, we're talking about transfers.
Oh, sorry. No. I thought this was like a preview show. I'm sorry.
I mean, we could do a preview show as well, but as you're all here, I mean, this is like a Royal Rumble fight. That's what I have to say. What do you have to say? You know what? This is fantastic because this gives me the opportunity to actually eat whilst you lot actually talk. And I know you lot go on a tangent about, I don't know, John Takes or Steve Parish or this and that. But Patrick and Stan, what have you made of the January transfer window?
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Just found 30 million quid in my pocket.
I was scared my heart job. I thought you were going to bring out a ban or something.
Okay.
You know what? I have a bit of a theory, I mean, I could be very wrong, but I think, we've heard for a while that Parish and Texter weren't exactly on good or great terms. Now, I don't know if they've all got together. They've gone to that Arsenal game, which we saw them sat together collectively. They've seen the banner, probably done a bit of actual research and actually kind of read the writing on the wall, and they've maybe just finally put themselves at the table together and maybe Parish has convinced Texter to pull the wallet out. I just have a bit of a theory behind that.
Do you guys listen to Tim when he called into the show?
I mean, I hope I do because I talked to him.
Yeah. Right. Well, because Tim said we had money. So I don't know why you guys are acting like we don't. We have money. Tim said we have money. Plus, all we've done is brought forward the summer transfer window. So this summer we're going to spend like nothing. But I'm telling you right now, we've had money. We just didn't spend it. So it's not like this is not a surprise to me at all. The players we got, we needed, which is good. But I don't think this is a surprise where the money comes from. This is not anything. Again, if you get Tim on later on, I'm sure he'll explain it to you. The money was there. We just didn't use it. So, and I agree with you, D. The whole, loans comment was just to have people not know what we're going to do. But I'm not surprised. I don't think the ban had that much to do with it. It might have, but I think it's more of the fact that people up behind the scenes realized we needed players. This squad was not good enough. We needed the right back. We needed a midfielder with the Cornet out. So for me, the shock of getting it, I'm not that surprised. And not getting a loan in is a bit of a surprise. But again, Roy doesn't want to play certain players. So the truth is, we've got players we have to play. For me, Muñoz starts Saturday, so does Wharton. And we go from there. But my only issue is the white bringing players he doesn't want to play. So
I bet you $1 million neither of them start.
You haven't got $1 million, mate. So we can't do that.
I'm in England, Stan, mate. You got to have to transfer that better translates to £1 million as well.
Exactly.
Lads. Did I not just come on here and say I just found £30 million in my pocket?
And you did say that.
He did say that, to be fair. He did say that, to be fair.
Yeah. So,
credit card must that balance on a credit card must be nice, man.
Might just start by lending out some of that office space, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. Like, you know what I mean?
That office seems a bit big. There's no one there, Stan. You might as well we will have the back corner around there. We'll do the live shows there, and then you can give us like a meal or two.
If that's the case, I want my own office then, corner view and everything.
But back at the Nest HQ,
that could be our like a Soho office. You know how Palace have the office in Soho, but we can have.
By the way, real quick, Stan, I'm in Aruba, as I'm sure you know, but I've met about 5 Canadians on the golf course. Apparently, Aruba is a very popular place for Canadians. Very nice people, by the way. Yeah, very nice people. I got to give him credit. One guy from Toronto, a couple of guys from maybe is up north, New Brunswick, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. You New Brunswick, yeah. But very nice, by the way, and good golfer. So yeah, just want to throw that out there. But yeah, very popular place for cold people who have cold weather.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is
just quickly, guys. Just quickly. I'm gonna bring on Andy, who's been waiting for a while. I'm gonna take myself out. I'm still gonna be here. If you lot just quickly talk to Andy, I'll be back in like 5 minutes time. Okay. I'm just gonna quickly eat my food and finish it. Is that fine?
All right, no problem.
Go ahead, mate.
All right, then I'm gonna take myself out, and then you lot can have a conversation with Andy about the window.
Guess I'm hosting the show now. Finally.
Andy,
welcome, Andy.
How are we doing?
Andy, welcome.
So how are you feeling about the window and how it's gone so far? And more importantly, do you reckon it takes us to the next level?
So
hey, what a ballpark for you.
The next level, no. The issue we've got, I believe, is the tactics to Roy. That's it. Wharton's obviously great. I don't know much about our new right back. I think he's going to be, well, he can't be worse than Ward or Klein, can he? Let's be honest. So that's put something for the next few years, that's for sure. But I was just thinking, are these youngsters something to entice the new manager, whoever that be, ready for next season and moving on? I hope
so. I pray and hope, Andy. I pray and hope that's the case. Yes. We can't have Hodgson around next season. I don't know why he's still here now, but I think you make a good point, Andy. I think if we bought these players with the mindset that, let's just say Cooper wants them or Potter, I love it. If we have Hodgson here next year, you will never see me on this show ever again. That's a statement. I'm not even joking.
He says that at least 3 times a season for various different things.
And that goes with his.
But he always comes back.
He also said he's going to Aruba and he don't care.
I am in Aruba. I mean, I'm on a preview show. I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
And when you look at the other people who were linked with, the West Ham guy, I'm not impressed. He's West Ham are trying to ship him out. He can't even make their team. So what's he going to bring to us? I don't know.
You know what I thought? Sorry to interrupt there, Andy. I think with him, I think he would have added some depth on the bench, right?
Yeah.
So he would have come on sort of the last 15 minutes and he would have been able to sort of carry us up the pitch a little bit more than like when Schlupp came on the other night, and I like literally wanted to, I was ready to spontaneously combust. I was that annoyed watching us just sit back. No, go on,
I was going to say, just to jump in on that very point, but we got Francis sat there that could do exactly that.
Yeah, but that's just the manager's an idiot, mate. So that's you can't say any more than that. I will say I listened to a rival podcast today, and the Wigan It guys actually used to be part of Back of the Nest, and they had Carl on there, Calcio Carl. He's obviously an in the know at Palace, and he actually said that you're not going to believe this. Palace agreed a deal with West Ham for Danny Ings, and he turned us down. Like,
the thing is,
why would you go after Danny Ings? He's finished.
Yeah, we got a habit of signing broken players, though. Let's be honest. For me, the striker issue, and I said it in the comments. Now, yes, we need a goal scorer. We've not had one. I think it was somebody said the other night since Murray or AJ. But Roy's tactics don't benefit a goal scoring striker. They never have done. So it doesn't matter who we put up front. You could put Messi up front. He ain't scoring.
You know, I will say that we played to Edouard's strengths before he got injured, and he did come in with some goals. And he is a goal scorer. Like, I genuinely believe he is a goal scorer. If you play to his strengths of putting balls in the box, and he'll put, if there's a ball along the 6 yard, along the box comes to his feet, 9 times out of 10, the lad's putting it away. I think what's it called? Mateta, obviously, like he's made him into a defensive striker, but he's still not. He's not a Premier League quality forward.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
He's not, unfortunately. I will give it to I don't know what triggered them to spend 30 million quid. Apparently, as our chairman calls it, the January is a very difficult time to do business. Only loans he was looking at. And we've gone and found 30 million quid from somewhere. Yeah. 2 signings that were needed, absolutely. I do think we need what's it called? Like, we should have utilised a couple of loan spots just to have bodies in the squad.
I think we had 2
but we haven't.
Left, didn't we?
Yeah, we haven't. And I think but I do think that with these 2 players, our squad has more depth and
100%.
We have a few more options. But the 2 star boys, they keep getting injured because Hodgson keeps running them into the ground.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do between now and the end of the season? Because realistically, they're probably going to get injured again.
See, going back to you said about the only loan signings, they found 30 million quid down the back of the sofa and all that. And I get what you're saying. I'm hearing it. Do you think that this is Parish's way of saying, well, I'll tell him we've got no money. I'll tell him it's only loan signings. Whoop, here we go. There's 2 players, nice and bought, a good potential for the future. They're all back on side. I've brought the fans over. Because he knew what he's got. He knows what he's got.
I don't think
possibly. I mean, I guess Steve Parish is quite a good, or Doogie, depending on who you want to sort of pin that one on. But we've always been pretty decent negotiators in terms of getting players over the line. It's only in the couple of recent windows we've gone and bought consistent 20+ million players. We've only ever done that 2 or 3 times. I mean, historically, our most expensive players are Benteke, Sacco, França, and Henderson, and then obviously Wharton today. So apart from that, no player we've ever bought has even cost over 20 million. So there's obviously a large influx of money that is getting spent with Palace, and it seems to be improving and slowly becoming a bit more of a regular thing. And remember, the business model of the Premier League is that even with the smaller clubs, the more consistent clubs, and maybe a major reason why Parish always gambles on us staying in the Premier League is that clubs like us on the lower scale of it in terms of the Premier League and incoming money from the sponsorships and stuff like that, we do bank a good 50 to 100 million a season, but you would never believe that based on what, the football club is always trying to sort of scream poverty. It's not probably coming out of Steve Parish's pocket, let's be honest. It's always a case of, he's using it from what probably generates an income coming from the club. That's why he's probably struggling. That's why he's realistically struggling to be able to finance this new stand, because he's having to rely on the heavier, richer investors in the club.
Yeah, and
See,
apparently,
I think someone was talking about the model of other clubs earlier. Go on.
No, go on, mate. I'll chime in afterwards.
They were talking about the model of other clubs, and I know when we finished the Jordan era and moved into the Parish era, the model was very much stability and make sure we don't face administration again. We've done it twice and all the rest of it. But I think they had no plan for after that model, and that's where we're at. And I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're doing and where they're going with us.
I think the thing we have to understand. I think the thing we have to understand is the whole idea was Steve Parish essentially was just there to save the club and potentially get us on a balancing wavelength. Yes, he is a millionaire in comparison to, me or your average everyday man. But in terms of the big boy table, finance-wise, he's not at that level. We have to sometimes realize that he's not a multi-billionaire. He's probably more along the lines of a multi-millionaire. He is very successful in his business, but even if you see the businesses he's in and the businesses he's created and built over the years, even outside of Crystal Palace, he's a maintain and slow builder. He's never been a situation, he's even admitted himself, he became a millionaire based on a passion that he just happened to make quite a decent amount of money on. But he's not a juggernaut in comparison to the rest of the investors we've got that actually have the money, who are tight with it. But he's just somebody that is.
But they're tight with it, AJ, because of the ownership structure that he has implemented. And I agree that he has saved us and whatever. I think we're a long, long way past that now. We're 14 years now,
Absolutely.
We're past that, coming up to 14 years. What I will say is that, fair play, the club bought 2 players. But I think personally, for fans and myself included in this, it's going to take a lot to get me back on side with him. I'll be honest with you, it's going to take a lot because the gaslighting on the podcast, the whole vibe of it, and the way that the bringing back of Roy Hodgson for another year and the penny pinching and the bad decisions. This was all completely unavoidable, and now all of a sudden, some banners gone up from the HF and a few other lads, and now
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's found 30 million quid down the back of the couch. Do you know what I mean? I think, fair play, and I appreciate the, how can you say, him going and doing it, but it's going to take me a really long time to believe anything that he says. Do you know what I mean? It is going to take me a really long time, but they've pulled it out of the bag with the transfer window.
Yeah.
Even if we keep
nobody, sorry, go on.
No, go on, mate. Go on. So finish what you were saying.
I was going to say, if we'd bought nobody, based upon the squad, regardless of injuries and all the rest of it, but he hadn't taken the easy option with Hodgson, I'd be on side with him. But I'm with you when you say, don't get me wrong, the first run Roy did was great. He stepped in and on somebody else's coattails, great, but he shouldn't have come back this season, and that for me is what's done it.
Yeah, I've been listening to some great. What happened to Andy?
Don't know.
It's because of you, D. You came back, mate, and you just put him off.
I don't know what happened there. I was about to say I was listening to you. You made some very good points, and then all of a sudden you
it's because you're jealous of my beard. You can't.
Exactly.
Oh,
right there, yeah.
Oh dear.
AJ, with all due respect, you can't really talk when we talk about beards. I mean,
first and foremost, right? Yeah. First and foremost, I was not the one out here distributing any kind of beard disrespect, because I'm very clever to stay away from that argument.
I'm just saying. But yeah, look, some great points made by Andy, and look, we'll see what happens, because for me, this window has been positive. It's actually been very good. I mean, the money that we spent, the players that we brought in, Muñoz, maybe we could have brought in another attacker, but I'm still happy with the 2 players that we brought in. But for me, I need to see what happens now in the summer. I agree with Stan. Right now, as it stands, I'm not changing my views in terms of the ownership. Even with the manager, I need to see a bit more. Then for me to change it after 2 signings, because it'll be hypocritical of me to say, oh look, this is great, and then in the summer window we do same old. We don't strengthen the position that we need to, and we're in the same cycle. So for me, this is a good start, but let's see what happens in the summer window.
Yeah.
In terms of the
we got to use them.
Yeah, in terms of the window, what do you rate it then so far?
Probably a 7 or 8. You know, I think it's been a good one. Could it have been better? Yeah, sure. You know, a new left winger, although I do think he does a great job there. At least he's got no real backup at the moment, and with the injuries he keeps picking up. But that aside, yeah, it's been a good transfer window, I think. As like I said earlier, with the strikers, the tactics don't suit the strikers too much.
Yeah, we're not gonna really put them in positions
we need prolific goal scorer.
Yeah, exactly. But even you know,
Edwards proved he can score.
Yeah,
you know, he's proved he can score, but he's not getting opportunities.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with the striker situation. I think it's going to be Edouard and Mateta till the summer window, and then we have to make bigger decisions because we do have to strengthen in that area. But whether we will and how that will happen, only time will tell. But look, Andy, pleasure talking to you. Pleasure having you on.
Mate.
Hopefully we catch you.
Cheers, Andy.
Yeah,
Take
great points, mate.
Safe, guys.
Cheers, mate.
That's Andy having his say. Let's bring on Tim next. Tim B. Well, we talk about bids. I mean, you win. Well done.
Tim, whoa. Tim just came outside, mate. He stepped up a level, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the hairiest division of the podcast ever.
Exactly. Welcome to the show. Transfer deadline day. What have you made of it so far? Wharton coming in today. It's been announced. Muñoz as well. We're going to actually talk about outgoings a bit later on as well, because there's been a few youth players as well as Ibue, which I don't know if he can as a youth player at this point because he should be, part of the first team structure. But what have you made of it?
I think, overall it's good. I think we've been crying out for a right back for a decade now. It's like, when was the last time we actually signed one? But I just the whole thing with I've just suddenly found 30 million quid, and is that a reaction to the fans? It's like, that might be part of it, but I think there's also been all this talk about how they're trying to get either a sale or some sort of extra investment in through whatever the banking company's called. And I think a large part of that will be the fact that they've had this massive valuation of the club that, their own valuation is like £750 million. And I think they've probably been laughed at for that. I think that they've generally had a response of but you've not invested anything in the squad, and it's held together by gaffer tape and bits of string.
It's a very good point.
That they do have to make themselves look a lot more serious with their investment if they're going to bring in extra people. Yeah, I think that may be more of a driving force for this than anything else. But I try not to be too cynical.
So with that being said, then, what do you reckon we're looking at for the rest of the season? Do you reckon we're kind of looking at a relegation battle, or are we kind of looking at pushing up the table? I know with Roy being still there, that's probably going to dictate a bit of that decision, and we know the man's not exactly always keen to play young, exciting players, but with the two key additions, I would say, to the squad, what do you reckon we're kind of looking at for the rest of the season? I kind of asked this question to Henry earlier on.
I think, like I say, with having a bit more defence on the right, a bit more pace and defence on the right side, and the ability to go up, hopefully, God willing, with Elise not getting any more major injuries. We could get a good run of form. I think we can comfortably move away from the relegation spots quite happily, but I don't think we're going to get above mid-table obscurity again.
Just your thoughts on the manager situation. It's deadline day. It's worth getting your opinions on it. You did say that you don't really see us pushing that up the table. We should be safe. What have you made of the comments on Roy? Just a lot of people have been frustrated with him. Are you a fan? Do you want him out? Do you want him in? Just to get just your opinion.
I wasn't keen on bringing him in last season, but especially because towards the end, he came in and his first tenure here, he came in and stabilised the club, and that was great. And then, as you've said yourself, like I ended up hating football. I just, it was just too painful to watch, really, And then they brought him back. Like last season, he had a real easy run of games. So there's a lot of talk about how he saved us. I'm not convinced he did. I think, I don't think that was a particularly challenging thing for any competent manager to do. And fair play to him. He came in, we played some nice football. We avoided relegation quite comfortably, ended up in mid-table. Yeah, that's all right. But in terms of bringing him back this season, I think there's a number of factors with that. Given everything that's gone on at the bottom of the table this season, it's like I was talking to a Villa mate a while back. He was like, "Look, this you missed the trick. This season could really have just been a free hit. Bring in some young players, bring in a new manager, like a younger manager who actually has a sporting philosophy that fits in with what Dougie Freeman wants and what he's been recruiting for all this time. Actually, even if it didn't go spectacularly well, there's a cushion there at the bottom, so they actually could have, not epically failed, but it would have been a bit of a free hit. You wouldn't have had to worry quite so much." I think this season we've largely stagnated bringing Roy in. It was a big risk for Roy as well. Because, like I say, he had his last hurrah last season, and that would have been the perfect time to just bow out.
Yeah,
it does sound like Parish pretty much begged him to come back. And so now, having done that, how do you sack the guy?
I think it comes down to that because let's be honest, any other manager, I don't know if they'll be at the job right now. And I understand it from Parish's point of view. He wanted him to stay for another season, and he doesn't want his last. Roy, I think they've got great respect for each other. I think Roy said it before. What game was it? The Sheffield United game, that they speak to each other on a daily basis. So I don't think Parish wants to sack him, and he's doing all he can to not sack him. But we just have to be a bit more consistent results. We got the Sheffield United win. I think we got a massive game against Brighton. But this is the thing, though. I don't know about you, Tim, but I just feel like this Palace squad, we should be looking more up the table rather than down. And now that we brought in Muñoz and Wharton, there isn't that many excuses. I don't think there should be. I mean, we've got Eze, Elise, we got some talented Gay here, still Anderson. Yeah. Now we got the right back sorted. We got Wharton who should contribute as well. I don't think there is any excuses now not to push on, and hopefully we do get a bit more consistent results. But do you think that some of these new signings, Muñoz, Wharton, they will get opportunities on the Roy, or is it for the next manager? Do you reckon?
Muñoz probably, Wharton probably not. That's the way I think. At right back, I can't imagine. I can't see how you would keep fielding. Well, how long's Ward injured for anyway? I don't know when he'll be back.
But, I don't even know.
Apparently, he's back soon, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I mean, him and again, it's like I feel really bad. I don't want to like cuss out either Nat Klein or Joel Ward because they've been incredible for us. But it's just the day's gone now, But it's like, I don't see there's any excuse not to start Muñoz as soon as he's like bedded into the squad and he's had a bit of a chance to like get to know everyone and how we play. And
I think put him in Saturday. Put him in Saturday against Brighton. Put him in. Can't do any worse. Chris Richards is terrible right back.
Yeah, I think Roy's a bit too risk averse to actually do that though. It's like, especially a game like that, because if that went wrong, that would be hanging down.
But you never really know. You never really know until you actually play them. And I think this has been the case with the likes of Ozil as well. Ozil hasn't played that many games, but whenever he's played, he's looked very good. He's looked very solid, and he seems ready for the Premier League. But I mean, we still don't give him the opportunities. I think that's the problem. We got young players that you need to give opportunities to. Of course, they're not as experienced as the other squad that Roy's had in the past with us. I mean, that was one of the oldest squads in the Premier League, and that was an issue in itself. But for us to know whether these players are good enough, I mean, Muñoz is 27 years old. He's not young. He's experienced. He has played in European competition. He has, he's played abroad. He's played for the Colombian national team as well. You have to give him the opportunities. You can't just treat him like a 19-year-old, which, funny enough, Wharton is. But then again, Wharton is 19 years old. But everyone that you speak to, everyone that you hear from Blackburn, say that the minimum ceiling for him is being an England international. That's how much they rate him. That's the minimum. They have high hopes for him. So even him, based off his ability and his price tag, even he should get a chance as well. Because the best way to learn is to actually go out there and play. Some of them might make mistakes. That's normal. You'll learn from them.
It's what everyone forgets about Wilf. I mean, why did Wilf become the player that he actually is? I mean, yeah, sure enough, natural phenomenal talent, but what actually made him was the fact that he played for us week in, week out, particularly in the Championship early on. And I can remember when he'd been playing for us in the first team for a couple of years, and there was like, get rid of him, he's got no end talent. And then actually over time just developed, and that don't happen if you're just playing in the reserves.
I think with Roy as well, though, guys, I don't know how you don't feel, but I'm at the point now where there's 16 games left. I'm counting everyone down, and I just want to see us safe. Don't really care when, sooner the better. And I'm just waiting for the day that he leaves. And to be honest, I've lost any ounce of compassion or enthusiasm I had for him after this season. I honestly, I don't ever want to see him on managing in football again. I think
I don't think he would.
He's done at it. Yeah. But everything he did for the club previously, for me, it pales into insignificance after this season, and what he's done, and it's been criminal the way he's underused some of these absolute ballers that we've got, these kids and whatever. Just honestly, get out. The sooner, the better. You're not here because you love the club. Don't kid anyone. You're here because you love a pound note, you old git.
Yeah, but we don't know about that. You said that last time as well, Stan, but we don't know about that. I disagree in terms of, I do think that he came initially. I don't know about this season. Maybe we can have that debate. But last season, I don't think Roy, I think Watford was his last job. I think that's what was in his head. I think he came back to Palace because we called upon him. He's got a good relationship with Steve Parish, and also he's got a love for the club, and that's why I think he came for the last 10 games. Now this season, that's another situation. Maybe Steve Parish, maybe these are discussions that we don't know what's exactly happened. Maybe Steve Parish was, convincing him. He was saying, we need you to stay for another season. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he's at the club for another year. Maybe that's why he's not getting sacked, because it'll be very hypocritical if Steve Parish should be begging a manager to stay at the club for another year, and then afterwards sack him. He'll be thinking, well, you're the one who wanted me, so why are you sacking me? So maybe that's why he hasn't been sacked as well. So end of the day, look, I know you want to put the blame on Roy, and I do as well. But Roy is not Crystal Palace manager today unless if we don't give him the contract. And it was on us as a football club. We gave him the contract to stay for another year. That's what the owners wanted, and that's what it goes down to. Yes, right now, whether he should be at the club or not, that's a discussion for another day. But it's not Roy's fault that we gave him the opportunity in the first place, and he took it. It's like Crystal Palace coming to you right now, Stan, and saying, we want you to run, I don't know, the head of commercial or whatever for Crystal Palace. Well, you're going to take it. Crystal Palace came to you. It's not like Roy was begging Crystal Palace to stay.
Yeah, he wasn't begging, but listen, he's not here there was factors to it. Okay, maybe I was wrong. He does love the club. All right, I'll take that back. But coming back this year, was he paid 3 or 4 million a season? I ain't doing it for free.
Yeah, well, of course he's not going to do it for free, but that's normal. With the amount of money that's spent in the Premier League, I mean, that's not ridiculous amounts of money. But the whole point is, if I'm Steve Parish, if I don't call Roy and say, can you stay for another year? We're not having this discussion in the first place. It goes down to the owners. It goes down to the people who run the club day to day. They made the decision to keep Roy for another season, and that's why Roy is here. That's not Roy's fault that he's here. Roy just got that, Steve Parish went up to him clearly and said, do you want to stay for another year? And he said, cool, yeah. It's not like Roy went up to Steve Parish and said, I need to stay for another year. It's not how it works. It's the owners. The owners wanted him for another year. Maybe not all of the owners, because we hear conflicting.
The only one
but Steve
that
Parish
wanted him was our chairman. That's from what we know. And everyone else was against it. And there were other managers contacted, etc., etc. Listen, I agree with you, D. I don't think there can be any excuses now why we can't play like we did towards the end of last season and just start absolutely turning teams over. There should be no excuses. You can keep the two star players. You can manage them. Just keep them on for 60 minutes if you have to. Manage them week by week. You've got Wharton, who, in my opinion, having watched his highlight reels, looks like is a Conor Gallagher replacement. He looks fantastic. You've got this forward-thinking right back, and you've got fantastic kids on the bench. So there's no excuses. And my bugbear here is, what's it called? That he's not doing that. Like, why has he suddenly changed it to just like, going back to like when we had Scott Dam and James McCarthy playing for us? Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. It's just it's annoying.
It is annoying, but it goes down to the people that's running the club day to day, and sometimes we forget that as well. Like Roy's not here right now if it wasn't for us giving him another contract for another season, and that's how I see it. And that's why I think there's a problem with the ownership structure. Go on, Tim.
Yeah, I mean that's the choice. It was a choice of either we push forward and develop as a club, or we go for a guy who will keep us up with minimal investment in the squad. And we chose the latter. Well, Steve Parish chose the latter.
And it could have backfired.
We're thinking it can still backfire. There is still, it was quite funny. Stan mentioned that there's 16 games left. 16 games left could still sink us. So
100%.
We need to see how Roy's going to respond with these investments in the team. And in the next 2 or 3 games, he doesn't. We need to pull the trigger. 100%.
Yeah, look, I don't know if we will pull the trigger. I mean, if we was going to, then we would have done it. Like there's so many opportunities to pull the trigger. But yeah, we'll see what happens against Brighton and Chelsea. Maybe with these new players. This is me, looking at the other side of things. Maybe with these new players, he plays some of them, and then we start getting a bit more consistent wins. But if you ask me if that will happen, no. But there is that possibility, right? We've got 2 new signings. Let's see if he uses them or not. But then again, I mean, either way, I'll be honest. Unless we have a nice push in the second half of the season, right now, if Roy was to leave, I don't know what the reception will be towards him. Like, I don't even hear Roy Hodgson Red Blue Army. I haven't heard that in ages in Sellers Park. Or any game, Roy Hodgson Red Blue Army. I think majority of the fans have just had enough. So either way, it's right now as it stands, it's just negative. Regardless of if he stays, if he goes, it's not going to be a good ending for him.
He's alienated himself from the fans with stupid comments, with stupid tactical decisions.
But
do you know what I mean?
He's apologized after. But for me, I agree with you there. Me personally, I agree with you there because I don't know whether he's apologized. He's apologized how many times this season. But then again, you can't keep making comments and apologizing after. I do feel like there is, probably someone there telling him to apologize because of the reaction to the fans. When he spoke about the youngsters, about Francois and who else came on in one of those games, and he kind of blamed them for the defeat, which was very confusing. And then he called the fans spoiled. Like, he's apologized a few times this season. I don't know if he means. I do think he's got old school view of things in terms of football, because I remember even he was on an FYP podcast, and he did speak about, look at Charlton, look what happened with Kirbishley, and that annoys me itself. Like, that annoys, because I mean, you can look at Charlton, but then you can look at other teams. Like, football, we're not back in those days. Like, football has changed. Like, the money involved has changed. The players, the academy, the facilities, the sports. Like, football is a whole different game. You can't just look at Charlton, what happened to Charlton about how many years ago, and then say that could happen to us. Yes, that could happen to us. Or you can even be worse than Charlton, but we can also be better. We could actually take risks and progress, as we've done under Patrick Vieira, in my opinion. We were excited about the football. So we can't just... That's the thing. He's got this perception about, the old school football and what's happened with certain clubs. And I understand it. He is more experienced. But for me, I do feel like the game has changed. So yeah, I mean, there's 2 points. There's 2 points of view. But Tim, before you go, just quickly, what would you rate the window out of 10?
It would have been nice if we got a striker as well, but yeah, I reckon about an 8. I think it was pretty solid. I think we've got quality in some of the places where we most desperately needed it. So yeah.
Yeah, 8 is solid. 8 is solid. Maybe if we got another striker or winger, maybe you would have gave it 10. But yeah, look, Wharton is exciting. Let's be real. Wharton is a very exciting prospect. We've despite having 2 or 3 right backs, if you include Richards there, we've signed another right back. Finally, they've decided to solve that problem, which was going on for about 5 years now. So yeah, look, they're focused on areas that we've needed to strengthen. Maybe we haven't got that final player to make it 10 out of 10, but I agree. I've been impressed as well this window. But Tim, really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Tim.
Up the Palace.
Take care. Up the Palace. Okay, let's bring on Nick next. Nick, how you doing?
Hey, Nick.
Hey,
What a
how's it
man!
going?
What a man!
How you
Your
doing?
bedroom's looking rough, Stan. I'd
You
get
are?
some different lighting in your bedroom if I were you.
I don't think he's gonna.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah,
All glass bedroom.
yeah. He's got so many rooms. He doesn't know where to stand.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be able to hook you up to my car audio when I was out and about earlier. So some good points made. Shame about the Cornet deal, wasn't it? Because a couple of seasons ago when we played Burnley up at their place, he was their best player by a long way.
Yeah.
And he must be sick being on the bench and only playing a minute tonight.
To be fair, he kind of reminds me of, maybe not on the same level, but some of our players, and barely getting any opportunities, and we know how frustrating that could be. So yeah.
How frustrated is Aboué going out again on loan? Is he one for the future?
Let's talk about Aboué. I was gonna mention him. He's gone out on loan today, of course, from Molenbeek, and Patrick has been saying that he wants to see Aboué play more often, but it's very hard to judge a player. Which, I mean, with Aboué, I just don't know what's going on with him. I genuinely don't know what it is, because he's not got any sort of chance. At least with France, he's had maybe 1 or 2 appearances off the bench and start against Everton. But Aboué is just, I don't know, because he's looked exciting in the past.
So, do you remember a player who had quite a journeyman career, Colin Kazim Richards? Do you remember him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kazim Richards.
So he was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And he was with Aboué at Derby. Obviously, Colin Kazim Richards is coming to the end of his career, and he's seen Malcolm, and he said that he is the type of player that could potentially go right to the very, very top. Listen, I hope that, where's he gone? Molenbeek? I hope he goes out to Molenbeek. He gets some game time. He's there with Teo. Not the greatest standard, but he gets some game time. And I really hope a new forward-thinking manager like a Kieran McKenna or a Potter or whoever comes in and gives the kid a chance, because no one's given him a chance since he's been here. He's had a couple of substitute appearances. He's not had the chance. And listen, Man United were after him. Steve McLaren was apparently trying to persuade him not to sign for us and go there. So there's something in him. He seems like a nice enough lad. I've never met him in person. So I really, really hope that that it works out for him and we use him, because I think it would be a shame.
Yeah, you mentioned he's not in a very good league. It doesn't give me much hope for Muñoz, does it? if that's where he's come from.
Yeah, if you look at both ways, you're right.
I think they're in the league below Molenbeek.
Oh right. Okay.
No, they got promoted. So they are there. I mean, they're nearer to obviously sort of scrapping to sort of stay up, to be fair. But the Malcolm thing's quite interesting, and the fact that Stan mentioned that podcast, because I remember he mentioned something about texting him, sort of asking him how he was getting on, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready. Like, I'm feeling like I'm ready to sort of crack into the sort of first team and make that next level." So, is it an attitude issue? Is there something Roy's not see? Well, to be fair, there's a lot of things Roy don't see when it comes to our young players, but there's got to be something amiss there, because he's not even getting anywhere near an opportunity. And the thing is, every sort of pre-season we've had him in, he's torn teams apart. So something's not quite right there. And I don't know, if he's that elite of a player, I would have debated how comes he couldn't get a loan in the Championship. Why did he have to go to one of our feeder clubs in Belgium? So
that's the whole system.
I don't know, Malcolm's a hard one. Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? Hopefully he goes and tears it up. You never know. But at the end of the day, he's a player we got for next to nothing. I'm pretty sure we maybe could go him free, or we really fleeced Derby for him, to be fair. So sort of more power to him.
What's really frustrating though is if you look, even without Wharton in and Muñoz in, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. If you look at our squad on paper, it's really bloody good. Okay, notwithstanding the injury to Decore, and there's a couple of players who Roy keeps playing who I don't think he should keep playing. I mean, Schlupp, for instance, used to be an impact sub, get some goals in. When we're looking back at the Sheffield United game, everybody was moaning that we should have kept trying to go forward. And okay, we lost our main outlets. But why didn't we have Franson? Because Sheffield United were absolutely terrible at the back. And with the league as close as it is, goal difference could be a big, big thing. All right, okay, just to win and get the 3 points is better than maybe conceding a point there. But we've got this Roy bloke in who is 4 times the age of our latest signing. That's mad, isn't it? He's 4 times older, pretty much. That's just incredible. But with Muñoz in there as an attacking right back, we've got Mitchell the other side. Do you not think that that's a possibility to play with 3 centre backs and attacking wing backs to change our formation during the game? If Chris Richards is in centre midfield and can drop back into that centre back position,
I don't think Roy's got the minerals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're asking too much of Roy. Yeah. It's a nice idea.
Yeah, if you're asking on paper, yes, because both of Mitchell and now we got Muñoz who can play as like wing backs. I think Mitchell can do that role as well. Before we didn't have that because with Joel Ward and Nathaniel Klein, they can't play as wing backs, and it's just Mitchell itself. So we couldn't change up. But now, if you're asking me to be all honest, I just don't think that's gonna happen because tactically I don't think he's got in him to coach that. I just don't think he has.
But then I would ask, just on that point, Nick, would you have Micah Richards as the 3rd centre back then?
Michael Richards.
Chris Richards.
Sorry. I've done that before, you know. I've done that before. I've done that before. Chris Richards even. Is that who you would go for in that scenario?
I kept calling Scott Dan Neil Dans. So you're not the only one.
Well, there you go, mate.
You know what I will say, though?
It must be an age thing, mate. I'll tell you. It's coming to us all. But the only thing I have...
Roy would sign. Roy would want to sign him, even out of retirement. He'd prefer
Roy.
him. Yeah.
I probably agree with you on that one, mate. But the only reason why I'm debating that one is I just feel in recent weeks Chris Richards hasn't really been it. And I don't know if it's maybe just a form thing or maybe he's getting more first team minutes so he's standing out more. But I'm a bit worried about long-term Richards scenarios, to be fair. I don't think he's it. I just don't think he's...
Centre-back, he was mustard the games he's played.
Yeah, and
apart from Arsenal, he got torn apart. He got destroyed by Gabriel against Arsenal, to be fair. So I don't know.
If you look at Arsenal, I think Arsenal, there's this debate about Sam Johnson. Of course, he's staying now at the club as well. And by the way, people, if there's anything that goes on, we'll keep you up to date. But I don't think there's anything that's going to go on. But right now it's quiet. But look, Sam Johnson, there's a lot of people, and I asked this question on Twitter. I said, who's better? Who would you rather keep? And a lot of people are saying Sam Johnson now rather than Dean Henderson. Some people 100%. Are saying Dean Henderson, but I think that's that recency bias as well, because Dean Henderson hasn't had the greatest of 2 games recently, and I think that's why some people just prefer Sam Johnson.
He's had one good game, D. One good game.
Yeah, but you said that Dean Henderson is on Wayne Hennessy levels, and he's not.
Nah, he's better than that. He's better than that.
He's not.
Can he come off?
You know what, Dan? To give credit to you, you're not the only person. Someone else said it as well, unless it was your burner account. But someone else said it as well. In my comment, someone else mentioned it. I don't know how. For me, he's not that bad.
You seen him come off his line? Neither have I. You seen him come off his line? You seen him make a clearance? Neither have I.
Oh, he did run out once against Sheffield United and clear it.
And he skied it into the top of the half away.
But there was a Sheffield United player bearing down on the ball who could have put it away. So I don't care if he skied it. He stopped the United player getting it. So
he's not the greatest on his feet, bless him. But he's not. There's quality there. There's quality there.
Yes, Man City.
Poor quality.
Yes, Man City. Poor quality. Look, all right, cool. Let's go through the games because we got another. Well, less than an hour. I didn't realize time was flying by that quick. But if you're enjoying this, like and subscribe. Man City away from home 2-2. Very good. Very good
He
game.
was good there. I'll give him that. He was good in that game.
From that game. He prevented nearly 2 goals.
He was very good in that game.
Nearly 2 goals.
Yeah,
Nearly 2 goals.
1.81. Brighton at home.
Abysmal. I think it was shocking.
Nah, he wasn't shocking. He wasn't shocking, was he?
He was.
He's passing. He's passing. Okay, if we're talking about his passing, yes. But I don't think he was shocking in terms of what he...
He nearly scored an own goal.
Yeah, but I don't think he was shocking.
I don't
think he was shocking. He still made 5 saves. I don't think he was absolutely shocking. His distribution is a problem. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's weighing any levels. I'm sorry. Maybe I need to see more of him, but I just don't think he's ever reached that point of level. And I think he will. And I'll be honest, Stan. I think he's going to be the one that's going to be the number one in the long term. There's no way we sign Dean Henderson.
Unfortunately, he will be because we have a history of not appreciating our good goalkeepers. We had Speroni in the Premier League and we replaced him with Hennessy, who was shocking. And we've got Sam Johnson, who is a top quality goalkeeper. I'm talking to someone who used to play in goal as well. He's a top quality goalkeeper. He can do everything. And we spent 15 or 20 million quid on. He's a dud, mate.
Well, the fact is, we've got 2 out of 3 England goalkeepers, haven't we? Or 2 out of 4 England goalkeepers at the club.
And that's a problem, though, Nick. That's a problem in itself because when you look
eventually
at the Euro,
that will come back and bite us at some point.
Yeah, it is. And we spoke about this yesterday, AJ. It was me and you, right? We spoke about it. We spoke about the goalkeeper situation. And I'm sorry, 2 clubs that do it: Arsenal with Ray and Ramsdale, Palace with Johnson and Henderson. Is not going to work. Ramsdale most likely is going to leave Arsenal, and Johnson is most likely going to leave Palace because you just can't have 2 number ones. I know in theory that's what you want. You want top quality goalkeepers that can, push each other, but it doesn't work like that, especially when both of them want to play for the national side, want to get into the squad. Sam Johnson right now is England's number 2. Henderson is going to be Palace's starter. If Henderson's starting ahead of Sam Johnson, then that can impact Sam Johnson in terms of where Southgate puts him. Like, it's just not going to work. It doesn't work like that. Yes, you would want all the best players, but goalie, every other position, yes, but with goalie, it just doesn't. You need
what I'll say to that,
1 and a 2. You need a 1 and a 2.
You know what I'll say? With these goalies, they're both here for the rest of the season. Let the new manager come in and decide which one he wants as number 1 and ship the other one out. That's all I would say. And hopefully, the new manager's smart and not stupid like Roy Hodgson, and he sends Dean Henderson away from this football club. Don't want to see him.
Well, you've mentioned the new manager, Stan. We're all kind of resigned to the fact we've got Roy to the end of the season. We're resigned to the fact that we've got these outstanding new players that come in, and part of us is expecting not to see them. Do you reckon the new manager has been done and dusted as for who it's going to be, or are we going to have a classic Palace where we're still scrambling for a manager with 2 weeks to go with the new season starting? What do you reckon?
Classic Palace, 100%. They haven't got anyone drawn up.
Are you sure? I think Steve Cooper.
We're not that. Steve Parish, from what I've seen, especially when it comes to management appointments, is not that competent. He just hasn't shown historically that he can do that.
I think that's what he's available now, but I think we're waiting on start the summer fresh with Steve Cooper, which I don't know whether that would be the right option or not. It depends on who else is available, but
I think we will probably this time we might come on stuck. Listen, like I said, it's going to take me a lot more to have faith in the board, in the chairman, to do anything properly. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're probably going to end up with bloody Gary Megson. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why, because no one else has the job. The chairman is a very difficult person to work for as well. He's not the easiest guy to work for, right? In my opinion, and I know this is harsh. Obviously, Vieira, we were stagnating under him. It was tough, but the trigger got pulled as soon as the going got tough there, right? They could have tried something different there. Do you know what I mean? Brought Roy back. Listen. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I have no faith in them.
It depends on who's available in the summer as well. It's a bit hard right now to to talk about. But Nick, in terms of the new transfers, do you see them getting the game time under Roy? I think Muñoz, Wharton, or do you think it's? I mean, Wharton. As much as I love to see him play ASAP because I think it's quality, I'm not as worried because he's only 19. I think the next match is 100% going to play him. So you can have a bit of time. But Muñoz is more experienced, 27 years old, has played abroad as well. Do you see Roy selecting these players straight away? And if not, then when do you expect them to be in the fold?
Wait for an injury, innit? I don't know. Muñoz has got to start now. He's been training. What made me laugh about the Muñoz? The one of the welcome videos. It had him carrying a cup of coffee from I don't know where it was to the training ground. Surely that
in London Bridge.
It's going to be cold by the time he gives it to Jefferson Lerma.
No, I think he put it in the microwave when he got in.
Steve Parish walks in like that meme, like "Hello, fellow kids." He was like dressed up like my son. Come on, Steve. How old are you, man? Dressy rage.
He's wearing a bomber jacket.
He's holding on to youth by dear life. Bless him.
Yeah. But talking of Wharton, I know somebody who's semi-related to him. He's my mate Niall lives in Blackburn. His cousin's nephew is Adam Wharton. Said he's a lovely, lovely kid. The only thing he's a little bit worried about is because he's so young, he's going to need really looking after out of the game. So hopefully he'll be put up with a good landlord and landlady who are good at looking after the kids, because he does get very, very homesick. And when he was called up for the England under-21s, he bloody hated being away from Blackburn. So that's my only issue, possibly, with the signing. Plus, also, you don't spend £18 million on a present and keep it in the box for a year, do you?
Whoa,
So
we are right now. We are right
well, we
now.
got £25 million present sitting on our bench currently. So
technically, yeah,
you know,
technically, yeah, we are right now with France. So you can make that debate whether we've used them enough.
Be lodging with Jim Cannon. How funny!
I don't know who Wharton's going to stay with, but look,
that's a borderline controversial
point there. Look, remember, we are. These are still human beings. I know we look at them as footballers and they come into the side straight away, they play. But of course, he's moving to a different environment, 19 years old. And it's not only him. Remember, Sam Johnston, only not too long ago, I think he came out and said that he was struggling living in London. And now he's actually adapted. And maybe that's why we brought in Dean Henderson in the first place, because we might have, ended up selling Sam Johnson. There was a quote, I think, a few months ago about, Sam Johnson talking about moving to Palace with his family and then struggling, and now how he's only just got used to it. So it happens. It's not, we're talking about 19-year-old people.
Happens to everyone. All walks of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving to Toronto, wanting to be back in Croydon.
I don't know about that.
I know which one I prefer.
But yeah, look, it's only. I think the club have done well in regards to that. Then again, as a London boy, Elise, Gahey, all these young players that we've got, to be fair, have been London boys. So it shouldn't have been as hard for them as it might be for Wharton, who's coming from Blackburn. It's to a different environment, massive city, diverse city. So he's going to have to adapt to it. But we'll see how he adapts. Maybe it might take a while for him to get used to it. Then again, if you're playing week in, week out training, and hopefully builds up, we've got a young group. So hopefully you can connect with a few of the players in the team.
What's their average age now? Because their average age used to be about 46, didn't it?
Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. I don't know what it felt like.
Definitely a lot younger.
Roy's last season, yeah. It was like we had one of the oldest squads, if not the oldest squad, and that's why we had to get rid of so many players, because it was genuinely like it was pathetic. But I don't know if I can find the average age of the squad.
Well, you look. Do you think Parish is going to stand for Wharton being on the bench if he's on the bench after?
I don't think he has a say in that. To be honest with you, there's Roy came out and said in his press conference that they didn't even discuss the Arsenal game, and Ed Aarons released an article in The Guardian 3 days before that. Apparently there was some constructive criticism. So I don't think one involves the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
I don't think it's as worried, Nick. You know why? Because he signed a 5.5-year deal. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
and the fact is an investment, isn't he? And if we can flog him off, I mean, look what the investments we've had. Eze, when he goes, he's going to go for 60 mil plus. Elise is worth at least 100 mil. And people might laugh at me for saying that.
You're going to get clipped for that.
Yeah. No, he is.
He is worth 100 mil, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
So we're kind of going on that, people, was it D earlier saying that we haven't, Parish, is only a millionaire, he's not a billionaire. So we've got to buy cheap and sell more expensive.
You know what's funny?
Profit. Go on.
About the average age, I'm just on transfer market right now. For this year, would you believe it if I said that our average age is 26.4 and there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 15 clubs with younger squads than us.
Really?
Yeah,
so we're not.
Who's got the oldest squad?
Fulham, 28.5. So
yeah,
the oldest squad.
William knocks that up, doesn't he?
There's Luton. Yeah, there's Luton with older. Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham. That's the only clubs that's older than Palace, according to transfer.
Luton have an older team than us. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking.
I thought all their players were like unknown kids.
Even Everton, they're 26.3. We're 26.4. Then you got Aston Villa 26.3, Wolves 26.2, City 26. So it's not as young in comparison to other squads in the Premier League. Chelsea
talking of Luton, isn't it great seeing Townsend tearing it up for them? I wish we'd kept hold of him. He wouldn't have got injured.
We need to watch Luton, by the way. We need to watch them. They are sneaking in those little. Well, I wouldn't even say little. What was it? 4-0 the other day. They're picking up points, and we need to be wary of that because we can get sucked into that so easily. So easily.
Yeah, I mean, there's other clubs below us as well. Brentford that's been struggling as well. So I think this year we're kind of lucky that there have been some teams that have got points deduction, such as Everton, and also have been struggling like Brentford and other teams. But we'll see how long they struggle.
I will say we have added, and a lot of our rivals haven't. So let's see.
In this window, the January transfer window, I think Premier League clubs in total spent about £100 million. I mean, we spent 30 of that anyway.
Yeah, I think we're probably the biggest spenders, but
biggest spenders in the whole window. So we've strengthened there, and we have strengthened some important positions, some some decent players as well. Yes, they're ones for the future with Wharton, but Muñoz should be ready now. But they've also got Cornet, so we have strengthened, and it's about now whether we play them or not. And if we do, then if we have Eze Elise fit, then the squad is strong enough, and I think we can. I think we
guys,
can push them.
I've got to jump off because I'm still at work.
Fair enough. All right then.
All right.
Cool, we'll catch up with you.
But
all right, see you later. We lost. I think he's going to say something. Oh, right then. He's gone. Let's bring on Tim next. And AJ, I know you have to jump off in about 5 minutes time. Tim, how you doing?
How you doing, guys? Good to see you.
We're good. Yeah, good to see you.
How are you, Tim?
Sorry about the wait.
No, man. I'm excited, and then I got work. So, here I am in the States. So I get meetings they get called into, and then I'm on the stream, and then I get called. So whatever. But
what time is it over there?
It's 3:30 p.m.
Okay, this was pretty early on.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's 10:30 here. So yeah, we got less than. By the way, people, in a way, because there's nothing going on. I forgot, but there's less than 29 minutes left of the window shut. I don't think anything's going to happen, but it's been an interesting discussion.
Do you remember that year we did a 5-hour show?
Oh, yeah.
The only thing we got was some Donny from Wolves at the last minute on loan, and he never even played for us. 5 hours of talking crap.
I don't know what. I don't know what we're talking about. Today I was busy, so I couldn't even do a longer stream. But look, Tim, what have you made of the January transfer window? I think it is only going to be Muñoz and Wharton coming in, around £30 million. Nearly spent on two positions that we do need.
I'd say it's less than that. All right. So £6.9 million for Muñoz. So 29 million, right? 22 if the add-ons for Wharton, if they come good. So let's say they come good, that's 22 million pounds. So 29 million. I like it a lot. And I guess I have muted expectations here. I just want good news from Palace. That's what I needed. My expectations are down here. And so, if you walk over a bar, I'm happy. That's kind of where I am. But I think it's a good, solid window. I think there are real questions about when Wharton gets to play regularly, but I this felt a little bit like echoes of Ebbs and Michael Elise. I have no idea, and I really don't care right now if he can reach those levels. It doesn't matter to me. What does matter is that we're giving it a shot, and I think there's something there. So I went back and looked, D, to see after we bought Ebbs from QPR, first opportunity for Ebbs to play, did he? And the answer is yeah, he did. He got 19 minutes, 1-0 over Southampton, and he played in that game. I don't have any memories of how he did in that game, but he did play. So I'm not saying that Roy is going to do the same with Adam Wharton. I hope that he starts out getting a few minutes and then builds it up, but he hasn't done that with França, so I don't have much confidence there, but it's good business, man. And I think things can be
excited. I'm still excited. Even if it's not now, for the future, I'm still excited by the player that we have in our books. 5.5-year deals. And for someone who's heavily critical of the club, I have to give them props when it's due. I think pulling this move is very, very exciting.
Well, don't you think two things can be true? Like, I think we can be fairly critical of what we've seen. I think it is true that the really poor summer window put us partially. That's a huge part of the problem of where we are right now. That it's like underinvesting in the summer was a huge problem. Like I think those things can be true. I think the criticisms remain as valid as they ever were, and this can still be a good window, right?
On that, Tim. Sorry to interject.
Please,
there.
Go for it, Nick.
Lots of people talking about the banner at Arsenal, and that's what gave Parish to kick up the bum. I disagree with that. I think it was good that the fans made their voices known, and I think
agree with
every
that.
Crystal Palace fan felt that. But they'd have done due diligence on these players, and they'd have been tracking them for a while. We know how long Dougie tracks players for before we sign them anyway. So to say that we only sign them because of that is nonsense. Because otherwise, why have we got Dougie in the club anyway? Sorry. Yeah.
No, I think you're exactly right. Although I do think, I think two things accelerated the signings this window, Nick. And there was in the Athletic article, the feature piece that Matt Woosnam wrote today, which was great. Read that if you haven't yet. There's an Everton fan who weighed in, who with extraordinary amount of jealousy, saying like, I'm gutted that we couldn't get him, but we can't be in for him because of FFP. So I think two things. I think I do think the fans making our voices heard, I do think kick things into gear a little bit. But you're absolutely right, Nick, that we've been tracking these players for a while. I'm certain of that. And I think it is a really smart thing to do when your rivals can't do what you can because you have been conservative. You don't have profit and sustainability issues. You don't have FFP issues. And so if you know that your rivals are going in for them, and you actually can be the one this time, because it's never going to happen again, you are the one that can go in with the money bag and say, like, I can outbid you because you've got a PSR problem and I don't. And we can go in for Adam Wharton on that. I mean, again, I do think, D, the criticism remains, but that is a brilliant thing to do. You know what? My opponent has their hands behind their back, and I can deliver a haymaker right here, and they can't punch me back. I'm taking it. I like
Good
that.
analogy. Good analogy. And the other thing is, you mentioned profit there, Tim, is you've kind of got to speculate to accumulate, because there are, not big odds, but we could go down the way we've been playing. So he's got to get these players in. Now, I'm just wondering that people have always said that players are more expensive in the January window than they are in the summer because people are desperate. But I think in this case with Wharton, we got a bargain simply because of the financial state Blackburn are in with the Zenke brothers, who aren't very well liked in Blackburn. So we've kind of mugged them a bit because they're so desperate for the money.
Yeah,
which is a shame. His brother's not bad either, by all accounts, according to my mate who lives there, defender. So that would help with. I think it's Steve Wharton. I can't remember, but that would help with him with his difficulties coming down to London if he had any. If his brother came down with him.
I mean, we had Christian been together club at the same time, so. I mean, we can do a little.
Yeah. We got two Ezras as well, haven't we? So.
We have. I mean, we do love a brother combination, right? If it works. Look, AJ, I know you need to go. Just quickly before you do go, your ratings for the January transfer window. What do you give it out of 10 with Wharton and Muñoz coming in, and also a few youngsters going out on loan?
I think I'm gonna have to go with the rest of the crowd and go with a 7.58 out of 10. I feel like we've got the right kind of players. I think it's, there's nothing negative about these signings, to be fair. And based on historic January windows in recent memory, it's probably one of the most productive windows we've had. So I can't be upset. I'm happy with that. But as always, people, lots of love. And I'll be back soon.
Good to see you, AJ.
All right, then, AJ. Thank you. Appreciate it, bro. We'll catch up with you again soon. Take care. That was AJ. We've got how long? 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
The window
you could tell not much is happening because I've just been watching the Sky transfer window and they're playing darts. The presenters are playing darts.
It's been a quiet window for everyone. I mean, even Fabrizio Romano, he tweeted about, here we go for Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari. Like that's the type of window we're having. Like that was his biggest story of the day.
Yeah,
and it's been such a quiet window, and in a way, look, when we talk about a Wharton deal, I guess it helps us as well because if you have less competition, maybe if other clubs could spend as much and wanted to spend as much, maybe it could have been a struggle to get Wharton on, for £22 million, including bonuses. If let's say Chelsea were willing to spend or any other Premier League rivals, which they haven't really spent as much, so maybe it has helped us in a way. With the financial situation and clubs not willing to spend as much because now Wharton is at Palace. But in terms of expectations now from here to the rest of the season, what is it? Because let's be honest, Roy's still the manager. I know, Tim, you've had your frustrations. I've had my frustration, and Nick, you as well. So with these two signings and Roy as our manager for now, what is your expectation? Do you have expectations to push on? Maybe top 10? Mid-table? Is it just stay up? Like, what would you be happy with?
What I find annoying, we talk about how well Roy did in the last 10 games of the season when he came in and kind of saved us from relegation potentially, is we played with a lot more flair than we have done this season. With the shackles seem to be off and almost a joie de vivre to sound poncy about our play, and it's become overcautious now. Now, if we know that Roy can play like that, and looking at the players we've got now, and I'll ask you in a minute what you think your dream lineup would be now with our starting 11, we know how we can play. Okay, we're not going to play like that against Liverpool. We're not going to play with that attacking intent and confidence against Manchester City, although we've shown that we can go toe to toe with Man City, or at least get results against them. That's what's the most frustrating thing about it. And the Sheffield United game is the least buzz I've got from a win. There were lots of empty seats around me. One wonders if that had a lot to do with getting Wharton in, making sure we got him in, because he's empty seats. You're not going to sell a pie or a burger, are you? You've still got to get the money in. There was no glad all over played against Sheffield United, and it was really, really. I know you weren't there, D, because you don't get there till 5 minutes late. I don't know why, because we always let in a goal in the first minute, so surely you want to be there to see that. But it was just really, really muted, and it's felt like that the last few weeks. And I wonder how much that filters into the main stand where Parish sits. I know sometimes it's difficult to hear over there what the HFs are singing about, but there has been that malaise. I'm just hoping that these signings actually invigorate us a little bit and give us a bit of confidence. Because I'd rather go down fighting than go down. Because you've still got to sell season tickets for next season, and people are going to be thinking, well, I'll hold on for my season ticket because A, I don't know what division we're going to be in, but B, I don't want to watch this type of football.
Yeah, I agree. I was there as well. It was flat, and I think Callum's saying as well. You're right, Nick. It was flat. It was like it's so weird. It's like, I mean, people were happy, of course, that we won, but it was just so dull at times. It was just weird. And I'm saying for a game that I finished 3-2, like it just maybe because of our approach in the last 10 minutes or so, maybe it was just a bit negative. But overall, I wasn't, we got the win done and sorted, but I wasn't convinced. I didn't leave Selhurst Park thinking, yeah, that's it. If we play like that against Brighton, we're gonna get a result. It was more of a case of we faced the worst team in the Premier League. We went head-to-head with them. We narrowly beat them 3-2. And if it wasn't for Eze and Elise's individual brilliance, then would we have even got a result? Because tactically, we saw it as soon as they came off. We kind of looked clueless again in terms of what to do. And it just seemed like...
It also made a difference, Mateta coming off, because his hold-up play was immense. Absolutely brilliant, Mateta, especially in the first half. And I'm glad he hasn't gone either. I'm glad we kept hold of him, although that does mean that, well, I know we've got 15 minutes left, so there might be a shock loan deal or something because, why aren't we utilising the loans? Or are they not getting loans in because they're planning on using the new players we brought in?
I think it might be more complicated than that. I think I have this suspicion, Nick, that I don't think we've done a good job with the loans, but I also think it has to do with a lot of teams being very reticent to loan anybody out. Like every squad has been absolutely gutted by injuries at different points. I just think there's a lot of reticence right now. Plus, the profit and sustainability crackdown has made everybody scared. But we haven't done a good job with loans. It's not just this window. We haven't done a good job with loans for a while now.
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, that's what
that guy that's tearing it up in Italy at the moment.
That's the last one, right?
I think we've done well though, Tim. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Sacco, he came, Conor Gallagher. I think we've done
I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we haven't done well with loans. I'm saying we haven't used them.
Yeah. But I think this is the question that I wanted to ask. Do you think what happened with Gallagher? What happened with not Sacco because we ended up buying him, but like to Ruben Loftus-Cheek? Do you think that's kind of put us off the loan market because we seem like we do get the right players and they do play very well for us, but at the end of the day, they just go back to the parent club and the parent club benefits more than us in the long term. Do you think that's kind of put us off, like in terms of not, getting these loan players for the sake of getting them for 6 months, then afterwards they just go back to the parent club? I guess you can have an option to buy and you can put obligations like that, but if the club doesn't want to, if the parent club doesn't want to put obligations and they want them back, do you think that could put off Palace in terms of doing loan deals?
No, I do.
I was thinking about that. That might be the case because we have got some very good players out on loan, but what happens at the end of it is that they always go back. We see with Gallagher right now. Gallagher's gone back. And let's be honest, if Gallagher didn't come back to Palace, he was on loan at West Brom. No one was really talking about Gallagher like that. He came to Palace. That's when everyone started talking about Gallagher. That's how we got into the England national side. And now that's why Chelsea want to sell him for 40 to 50 million pounds. Why? Because of Crystal Palace Football Club and Patrick Vieira's system. And it doesn't benefit us in the long term. Do you think that could play a part as well in terms of, getting these loan players for the sake of getting them? But then at the end of it, if they go back, it's pointless.
No, I think we did get a little bit sick of being Chelsea's, development squad. I think we did get a little bit tired of that. So I think there's a middle ground. No, you're exactly right. I mean, we've done well with loan players, but I absolutely believe, D, that there was a desire to graduate from taking loans that we can't do anything with long term. And there is, if you are the club that's loaning, you would like to get the development. You want to get all the benefits of the loan and the the receiving club wants to get something out of it as well. And we want to be a club that doesn't just need loans to survive. We were hoping to graduate from that. And that's kind of where we were with the Chelsea loan system. So the next thing is when we get loans, like the next crop of loans, what I hope we graduate to is we not only get good loans, because we loan, you're right, we have loaned great players, but can we be a club that has enough gravitas to be able to get a loan and have that loan have an option or an obligation to buy attached to it? Like what, we were so close to getting Lewis Hall, and then that got hijacked.
Yeah, Newcastle. I think he's a Newcastle fan as well. But then again, look at it like this. So we loan out our players, right? How many of our players do we put an obligation to buy to these other clubs, for example? We don't. We do the same thing. Like we don't.
We're doing the same thing. Look at Goodman at Colchester.
What was that?
Goodman at Colchester is regularly appearing in. Are they League One or League Two?
I don't think he's got an option.
No, I know that got an option. All right, but he's regularly.
We do the same thing. That's the thing. Like these clubs, we're a bigger club than Colchester. We're a bigger club than Wimbledon, who we learned out. Right. Like we're a bigger club than all these clubs. And the thing is, we don't want to put an obligation to buy because we want these places to develop and come back to us. Just like how Chelsea view things. They're a bigger club than Palace, so they want their Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They want their Gallaghers to go to Palace, a smaller club, have the opportunities, and then go back to them. I think that's the reality of the loan market. It's very hard.
Have we ever loaned a player to another Premier League club? I don't think we have we?
I mean, we're normally the club that's needing.
I don't think. I don't think so, Nick.
The chat might know if I don't.
Maybe one day, but as well, we're talking about these players coming in. How far into the kind of the academy being built are we now? 4 years, 3 years, 4 years? How long do you think it'd be before we start seeing those players coming through? Because I noted today it's 14 years since we had to sell Victor Moses because we were in a financial mire. And didn't he? I'm glad he went actually because I'm not glad he went, but he won a Premier League. He won so many trophies, didn't he? He had a brilliant career. I'll still never forget that overhead kick he scored. I can't remember who it was against, but it was absolutely fantastic. So we've got to put that in the mix as well now because we've got so many good up and coming players at the under 18, at the under 21. I'm not sure what percentage of under 18 and under 21s go on to have a successful football career because quite a lot of them, we've got players that we saw up and coming that are playing for Croydon. Now,
I think the academy is going to. I think the academy is going to be like a stopgap, and I think in the future we won't have to use a loan market, even though we're not using it right now. We won't have to use a loan market as much because I do agree, Nick. There's a lot of players that's coming through the academy system, and we're seeing the benefits of the improved facilities. It's not just the facilities, the opponents they're playing against, the care that they have is all around much better system. And I think I said it all along. We are going to have. I'm so optimistic about this. We're going to have one of the best academies in the whole of country. Everyone, that's going to be. I think we're going to be known for our academy. I think that's the one thing people are going to look at Crystal Palace. They're going to be like, yes, that's that. They're known for the academy. They always develop great players. The reason for that is South London. The catchment area that we're in and the amount of borders that come through South London is unbelievable. The problem all along, even from when. I mean, I'm not that old, but from when I was in school times, I remember Southampton used to come to schools to scout players. Fulham used to come. All these other clubs would come and try to poach players. But Palace could never reach on the same level because they didn't have the facilities. The academy facilities weren't great enough. And we weren't playing on a similar level. But now that that's fixed, you're seeing so many Ruben Loftus-Cheek, let's talk about London in general. Sancho and Reece Nelsons and Emil Smith Rowe, all these players come from our area. And there's so many of them. There's still going to be many more coming through as the years go by. But the difference is now we've got an improved facilities and we can also grab these players now because we've got the pool. And that is significant. And we are seeing it already. We are seeing it already with how good the academy is. And I think it's only going to get better. And I think when you look at the next 5 to 10 years, that's when we're going to see the rewards of some of these academy players. And hopefully, with the right approach, we will get them.
What you've also got to consider is our 10 years now, 10 plus years of being in the Premier League. And actually, these kids who were being raised in South London, around our catchment area, you used to see so many Man United and Chelsea and Arsenal shirts around. Okay, you still do, but you see a hell of a lot more Palace shirts around than you did. So actually, you're going to have Palace fans who are going to be good footballers, who are going to want to go to Palace because we are now that established club. I don't want to put a book on it now and do a Stoke, but you know what I mean. But what's really annoying is we've got the manager who isn't playing the youngsters. Who knows how Jezrak Saki would have done had he had half a season, had he filled in for Elise and got that game time in rather than having Schlupp in there or other players out of position. You know what I mean? It's very difficult, and it's hard to quantify what would have happened, because we might be 6 points below Luton had we done that. We just don't know.
Yeah. Look, that's okay. That's for this season. I'm not as worried. It's been annoying, but I'm not as worried about our long-term future because of what Roy's not playing Ozil or Raksaki. But that's why I think Steve Cooper is very likely, due to his past as a manager in terms of managing the England youth level and working well with youngsters. And I think that's why
Taylor managed England youth. He led them to an under-21 championship, and look how crap he was as Peter Taylor, and look how crap he was.
But that's I'm talking about right now. Steve Cooper, I know, but experience, and we were interested in him before we actually signed Vieira as well. It didn't go through, but so that's why I think the club are aware of that now more than ever, because we're looking at our situation. We're thinking, Parish said that some of these youngsters should be getting opportunities, and they're not getting opportunities. And I think our next managerial appointment, we're gonna definitely have that discussion. Like, we want to use the academy, and right now with Roy, he's not going to use the academy. It is what it is. That's how he prefers to manage. And I think our next manager is going to be significant, not only just for the tactics and how the type of football that they play, but how they also view the youth level football. Will they give the opportunities to the youngsters? And I think that's going to be part of the decision making in terms of our next manager, and it should be, because the academy, we've invested a lot of money, and we need to try and grow and develop some of these players, especially when others are not performing as well. For example, right now, I'll be honest, Jeffrey Schlupp, I don't know what he adds to this Palace side, and you don't have
signed a new contract.
Yeah, he'll probably get a new deal. Exactly.
No, he has. I thought he had. I thought he'd signed another extension, 1 year extension.
Yeah,
pretty sure I had
end this summer. I thought his contract ends this summer. I don't know.
Oh, maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to be careful in terms of our next academy approach. Sorry, Tim, did you want to say something?
Let me pivot you for 1 second here, because I think there's something that I want to bring up. Just you're right about the academy. There's just, don't forget, we've had 2 Floodlit Cup winners over the past four seasons. So like, that is, it's been going on for a while. The Palace youth are amongst some of the best in the country, and that is something to watch for. So I think you're right about that. But quickly, for Malcolm Abioe and Teo going to Molenbeek, I love that, but for a different reason. We have known, and we've been hearing about it for a while, about the fracturing inside the boardroom. I don't think that those two going to Molenbeek really has much to do with, it does have to do with their development, and a loan out to a championship side would have been great. And there was a report that Malcolm had some interest from championship sides. I think that is a move of goodwill from Parish to Texter, because Texter's having some problems in Belgium right now. He's having problems in Brazil right now. And
is it Parish? Sorry, Tim, I want to quickly cut you off there. Is it Parish or is it Dougie Friedman? Because it seems like Dougie Friedman and John Texter, they have a very good connection with each other.
Well, they did.
I don't know.
They did, and then he was going to continue to be the sporting director and do a lot of work for Texter at Lyon, and then that stopped. I don't know, and I don't really care. Whatever it is that gets Parish, Texter cooperating and helping each other, and actually us, providing some help to Texter and vice versa. Texter apparently working on helping us trying to get, was it Luis Enrique? Didn't happen. Doesn't look like that happened. I don't care if they are talking and they are trying to work together and there's a little bit of repair there and we see Texter together and sitting with him at games. Great. That needs to get sorted. That needs to get fixed. If there is a way for these board members to help each other and it has some benefits to players that need development, both Malcolm and Teo need minutes in their legs. They need to play. And they're very likely to play at Molenbeek. So this feels like something where I think that's a feature of this window that we ought to at least mention. That we don't know if that's a benefit. I'm completely guessing here, D, but I do think that's a nice potential benefit here. I want to see the people who are causing some problems stop causing some problems. I want to see them cooperating a bit more here. And so that was nice to see. In addition to Wharton and Muñoz coming in, I think that those are two decent additions. In fact, better than that. I'm an 8 out of 10, and I would have been a 10 out of 10 if we would have got a left winger as well.
Yeah, and I think Ibuwe is going to be significant for Molenbeek. As you said, they have been struggling. I think they've got 6 games in a row. I know they only got promoted, but I think Ibuwe, from what we've seen and heard of him, he should be able to adapt to that league and hopefully, get Texas teams a bit more goals and points and stuff. Exactly. So yeah, look, maybe there's some good work going on there. Yeah, nice. Yeah, exactly.
We're on the countdown.
Yeah, we're on the countdown, exactly.
I'll let us count down. I've got the players that are out of contract at the end of the season who will kind of need replacing. But I'll wait for the window to shut. The big news on Sky is that Lewis Hamilton's joined Ferrari.
Exactly, that's the craziest thing, is deadline day, and that's the biggest news. Like, and
PSR
that is the big news,
killed the
but
window.
There's nothing that's going on. There's nothing that's going on on deadline day. Literally,
10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Have you got a sound effect ready?
I don't even know. Let's see if there's any sound effects.
Slam your cupboard shut. It's almost like a window.
What's this? Hold up. What is this? Let me play this. That's fitting. Oh, is it time?
Yeah, it's closed.
Yes.
It's closed. You always get a little bit of news after, don't you?
Oh, that was brilliant.
All right.
That sound effect was brilliant. Yes, the window is officially shut.
All right.
Palace have brought in Adam Wharton and also Daniel Muñoz, right back, centre mid sorted. No Cornet. But still, look, overall, I think we're all happy with the business. Hopefully we continue it in the summer. I think these players should help the squad in terms of depth and quality, which we desperately need in significant areas of the pitch. Maybe we could have brought in another winger, but it is what it is. I mean, we're still happy with Wharton for now, anyways. But just quickly, let's get your thoughts on it and just a rating. So, Nick, out of 10, what do you give the window?
I'll give it a 7. Simply because I think we could have got rid of a couple of people. I know we need a bit of depth, but we could have capitalised on players that possibly, I'll go through the ones that are out of contract. Will Hughes, we could have got some money for. Schlupp, his contract's up in June, but he's got an option of 1 year. Gyro, Nathaniel Klein, Joel Ward, Nathan Ferguson. Will we keep paying his medical bills? James Tompkins and Remy Matthews. So the last few there aren't really that important. But I think perhaps we could have got some money for Schlupp. We could have got some money for Riederwald rather than.
But we will never. But we're thin as it is, and we talk about. Roy
We're not.
They're not going to get rid of Trevor Schlupp. I mean, who wants Schlupp right now as well? I don't know how much he's on, but
he's won the Premier League, man. Can I ask you now? He's won the Premier League. Can I ask Tim and Dee, with the players that we've got now, notwithstanding Decore because he's injured, what would your ideal Palace starting lineup be now? I know we've got the choice of goalkeeper.
Go D, go.
Geez, if goalie. Normally, goalie is like one of the easy positions. You just say you're number one and you move on. My lineup would be. All right, let's just say Sam Johnston in goal, right back Muñoz, centre half Anderson and Gahey, left back Mitchell. Then I'll have with no injuries, right? Are we including injuries?
No injuries.
Oh, Decore, Wharton, Eze as a midfield three. Got Elise down the right hand side. Left hand side Francois, and up front Edward. I think that will be my ideal 11 right now to the end of the season.
No Lerma in there with Decore because they got a good partnership going.
I was going to say
I think Wharton and Decore. I think Wharton and Decore is going to just edge it further than Lerma. I think the competition is going to be nice though, because I did think about it as well. What's going to happen with Lerma, but there is going to be that situation. I think Wharton and Decore will hold it down in midfield.
I got two changes. I like all of that except for two. I'm starting Lerma. I think Lerma can teach Wharton quite a bit, but I want to see Wharton on there. I completely agree with you. But I'm starting Mateta. The best play I have seen us do all year when we actually do it, Nick, is playing through Mateta. I think if Ebbs and Michael and Franz are all there, and he holds the ball up, and he creates space for them to run into and gets them the ball, I think we are very, very dangerous off of that. So I'm starting Mateta, even though I like Eddie, but Eddie has to show me that he can learn to beat the offside trap. When he beats the offside trap, he gets to start.
But and show a bit of energy when he's on, because he did nothing on Tuesday night.
We've got a super chat here, Nick. I just want to ask you this question. Thank you, Daniel, once again for your super chat. Much appreciated. He said, who is your midfield next season with everyone healthy and assuming Eze is still here? So for me, I said Wharton, Decore, and Eze. Nick?
I'm not sure Eze could be more. I know he likes to play through the centre, but it's Decore next season. Definitely Wharton. As long as it's not Hughes, as long as it's not Schlupp, anybody else in there. But the players we've got, if you looked at that team, we are mustered. It's almost the best squad we've had since we've come up, almost. But we haven't. I'm going back. We've got a manager that is too defensive, or not too defensive. But we attacked well against a poor team the other day. But it's I don't know. But we'll have a good bench as well. I mean, Daniel's asked what we're going to do with Ozo. With so many subs being made now, or being allowed to be made, not that Roy would know. But if you look at Liverpool, the substitutions they made last night, they brought Trent Alexander-Arnold on, and
they're right by Bradley.
They brought Robertson on.
As well.
Yep. Yeah. They brought Robertson on. I can't remember the other subs. It was so it's going to be good to have a better bench, but Roy doesn't bring them on, so I don't think we could actually progress until we've got the new manager. And I just wish we could get the new manager to bed these players in, and also to show players who might be off at the end of the season because we can't turn them down. Actually, we've got this team here. We're really good. And and I have got brain cells. Thank you, Louis. I'm just a bit tired now. So
He didn't say you. He said Roy has no brain cells.
Right, sorry. Yeah, I told. Well, that's just proving that I don't, because I can't.
You being a bit tired and misreading that, exactly, because it's late at night. But yeah, you do have brain cells. Yeah, we all know that, Nick. But thank you for confirming that as well. We have confirmed Wharton, Nick has brain cells, and Muñoz on transfer deadline day. we've got three confirmations. At least look, we ended with that. But look, Daniel, thank you so much for your super chat, much appreciated, and thanks to every single one of you that's tuned in today. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, people. But yeah, Nick, did I ask for your rating? Yeah, no.
I said 7, didn't I? It would have been 8 if we'd sold Schlupp. But that's just a little bugbear of mine. And he'll score the winner on Saturday, knowing Jeffrey, because that's what he does. We slag him off, and then he'll pop up and get an important winner.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 7 as well. I think if he signed another winger, that would have been pretty much a 9 or 10, because I think Wharton for me is like, as much as I love Muñoz, Wharton, I'm so excited about the future with him in midfield.
You've just got to read Blackburn Twitter to know how good he is.
So excited about him, and I think he's a fantastic signing. And if we got like another winger, that would have just been incredible. So I'm going to go for a 7. I think it's been a solid window. It's going to, of course, raise question marks. We'll be on here discussing it. What's going to happen in the summer? Because for me, this is a good window, but summer is going to be important now. What do we do? Who do we sell? Who do we bring in? It's going to raise questions because we spent decent amount of money in January, considering it's a January transfer window. So let's see what the future holds. If it's something along the lines of what we saw in January in terms of like strengthening the position that we need to with quality, then I think everyone will be happy. But the frustration from the fan base to the owners have been that, you know, the lack of ambition on and off the pitch. And, you know, off the pitch, I think this window, we have shown it. It could have been way worse. But it's only one window, and 2, for me, Roy's still the manager, which doesn't really show ambition really off the pitch. But then again, in the summer, a lot of these things can change if the club wants to show a bit of ambition. Tim, I'm so tired. Did you give your rating as well?
I gave you an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, you gave me 8. So we got 7, and 8. Yeah, we got 7,
8,
and
8 because of the loans.
Yeah.
And what do you rate Ferrari's transfer window?
What was that?
What do you rate Ferrari's transfer window?
11 out of 10.
Yeah.
1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Look, we got a massive game. The window's now shut. We got a massive game on Saturday. I won't be here for the live match reaction because I'll be in Morocco. I'm flying out in about 7 hours' time. So after the stream, I need to get in my car and drive to the airport. But look, thank you to every single one of you that's joined us today for the live transfer deadline day show. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you have, like, subscribe, and also make sure to check out the content that's going to be coming out throughout the weekend. Of course, reacting to the massive game against Brighton. But until then, up the Palace and keep safe.
Up the Palace.
I can't even end it. Hold up.